The power of education is the ability to inspire people to really reach their greatest potential.
Hey guys, Troy here. As part of the Beijing Off the Wall series, where I tell interesting and diverse Beijing stories through the eyes of young people. A few months ago, I interviewed my good friend Thomas. We talked about his experiences working and living in China over the 6.5 years and dive into our shared passion for education.
My name's Thomas. I'm currently in the US because of the COVID disruption, but I usually live and work in Beijing, mostly in education and ed tech.
Thomas 和我是在 Global Shaper 这个社团结缘，通过一次次项目合作，以及在 GES 外教育大会共事的经历，让我们结下了非常深厚的友谊。更加难能可贵的是呢，我们对双关和谐音梗都非常的喜爱。
Share anything about Troy.
Troy's awesome.
Wow!
We're talking about the movie with Brad Pitt, right? No, I'm kidding.
You got me.
Fantastic. You know what I'm saying? 和不少外国人一样 ，Thomas 到中国的第一份工作是当外教。不过并非是我们想象中拿着高薪的英语培训机构里面的外教。Thomas 选择去了偏远的广东的一个小镇，去当支教老师，而且这一待就是2年的时间。
Well, what brought me to China back in 2013 was wanting to go to China and finally learn Chinese while also doing something to give back to society. So I taught English for my first 2 years in a small factory town in Guangdong, small by Chinese standards, and that was a really rewarding experience, a tough experience, but a really rewarding one. And I would argue that 2 years, while we might think it's long, is a very short amount of time, especially when it comes to something like education and trying to make a long-term impact in the community.
美丽中国支教项目为中国教育资源匮乏的偏远地区输送了一批又一批有教育情怀、敢于担当的青年教师，带去面向未来扎根于生活的优质教育。除了 Thomas， 我还认识一些像 Eric、Martin、Tom、Sam、Alan 等一些朋友，他们都参加过美丽中国2年的支教，而且呢，在他们身上我都能看到金子般可贵的社会责任感和创新意识。我觉得这并非是偶然。There must be some sort of Teach for China magic happening here.
I ended up getting a great position with Teach for China on the administrative side in Beijing.
从讲台上来到了幕后，Thomas 积极奔走，为美丽中国的支教项目募集了大量的来自于中国大陆以外的资金和捐款。
And so for me, that was a great combination. That was the chance to stay with an organization that I really liked and found really impactful and really meaningful, but to learn new skills. So moving a little bit away from teaching and from the actual work with students and learning more about how things work behind the scenes and how to make sure an organization like this not only stays running, but is also achieving the outcomes that it wants to achieve.
而后 Thomas 加入了教育科技创业公司 YPKid， 再到后来的大型教育科技集团好未来。Thomas 在北京的4年多时间里呢，不断践行着自己的教育理想，而他对教育的这份执着和热爱，并非是一蹴而就的。
I don't know if I ever had one revelation or one epiphany that led me to this pathway. I've just always been fascinated with how people learn, and I wanted to explore not only how education works in different cultures and different environments, but also in different sectors and really different industries as well. I really believe that not just with education, but in any field, if you have the opportunity to have these kinds of different experiences, to basically look at the problem from a very different perspective, a very different angle, it gives you a much more well-rounded view of the big picture.
我们也聊到了中美教育的一些区别。
I think one of the biggest things that's always interested me is just how the conception of education is so different in these two countries. In the ed tech world, we look at how much money parents, especially in the cities, will spend on their child's education and why and how this has been able to make Chinese ed tech companies so successful and so hot. That's just something that you don't see in the US. I think that people value education, but in different ways, and it shows in different ways as well. A lot of that has to do with incentives. So, for example, the key to getting into a good school in China being a great Gaokao score or a great score on the college entrance exam. It means that you need to work as hard as you can over your 12 years in school to do as well as possible in Chinese, math, and English. And so that's where a lot of this test prep, a lot of the tutoring comes in China. When it comes to the US, the incentives are very different. With applications to college, for example, it's not just about the SAT score. It's about your overall achievements and accomplishments over your 12 years of schooling. It's about the extracurriculars that you did in school. It's about the leadership that you displayed.
What are the things you value most in education you think are truly important for the younger people?
A few things that come to mind. in no order. One is relevance, really making sure that we're teaching our students the things that they really need to learn. I think we've all experienced being in the classroom or being in a learning environment where we're forced to learn something, not because we want to or because we really need it for the real world, but because someone said that this is going to be on the test and you need to do well on the test in order to progress to the next level. That doesn't do anyone any good. Another thing, be proactive and to own the process of, again, what they learn, how they learn it, when they learn it, et cetera, et cetera. And it may sound naive now, especially in the world that we're living in, but I really do believe that education can really open up people's eyes and open doors. For the power of education is the ability to inspire people to really reach their greatest potential.
Thomas 曾经和我分享到 ，experiential learning 体验式学习是教育的关键。学生们应该更多走出校园，在社会生活中去认识、了解各种各样的人和事物以及文化。这样才能够提升自己的综合能力和素养。而像我们所在的 Global Shapers 这样的社团呢，正是非常好的平台。
So Global Shapers is a network of communities in different cities around the world with young people under the age of 30 who are trying to make some sort of difference, either at the local level or at the global level. And what's so great about this community is not only how vast it is, the fact that we have now 400 different city hubs with 10,000 active shapers and alumni, but also the opportunities it provides young people to practice leadership and impact in ways that we might not have in our day-to-day jobs. The chance to meet people from all over the world of all different backgrounds.
比如我们所在的 Global Shapers Beijing Two Hub 北京第二社区，这里聚集了40多位来自于10多个国家、不同行业背景的小伙伴。我们有来自于 Trinidad and Tobago 的外交官，来自于塞尔维亚的设计师，来自于斯里兰卡的科技创业者。又来自于四川绵阳打酱油的我。不过呢，我们不能简单的用这些标签来定义每一个 shaper 和每个人，但是通过像 shaper 这样的一个群体，把大家更好的聚集在一起，产生 synergy， 互相的支持、帮助、提供资源、交流，更好的让每个人去践行自己的理想、自己的 passion。Helena 创办了 Bear Project 来提高人们对心理健康的意识。Tanya 和 Alex 通过 Humanity in Tech 的活动和线上的采访来倡导科技向善，就通过他的播客 Sympathetic Fibers 来对话行业的专家和大咖。Yuka 创办的 Eco Art 通过艺术和设计的手段来宣传环保的理念。在去年12月的时候，我们整合大家的 Passion Projects， 打造了近500人参加的 Social Impact Week。社会影响力周
And the idea was to focus on different social impact issues facing Beijing, facing our world, and have different events and different programs focused around those topics to teach people about what's going on in these areas, and then also to hopefully engage them and foster this broader culture of social impact in the wider Beijing community.
在去年秋天 ，Thomas 邀请我加入了 GES 2019未来教育大会的组委会。我们和另外一位上海的 Shaper Owen 组成了海外项目组的铁三角。在007不足996有余的高强度工作状态下，托马斯依然保持着一丝不苟的工作做事态度，而且还能坚持每天早上晨跑。有好几个晚上下班之后，托马斯还能从中关村赶到三里屯去参加个 party 啥的，让我佩服得五体投地。最后，通过整个团队的努力，我们在北京顺利的邀请并接待了来自于15个国家50多位海外演讲嘉宾，促进了中外教育行业的进一步交流与发展。
With GES, with really everything that I've done, one thing that I've really enjoyed is being able to facilitate a lot of professional people's first experiences with China, seeing them have these wow moments of wow, I can't believe that I'm seeing what I'm seeing.
在 Global Shapers 去年的一次团建上，作为 Curator 执委负责人的 Thomas 为所有的小伙伴准备了一封信，信中他非常用心地罗列并感谢每一个人为社团所做出的贡献，并表达了自己的期待。这让我每个在场的人非常的感动，我也一直把这封信保留到现在。在信的落款处 ，Thomas 写的是 "Impactfully with back"，impact 影响力，这是我们经常会提到的一个词。不过，到底什么才是 social impact？ 怎样去衡量它？这其实是一直困惑我们的一个问题。也许 back 这个概念能给你我一些思路。Back stands for behavior change, attitude shifts, condition improvements, and knowledge transfer， 即改变行为、转变思路、优化环境、传递知识。如果你觉得很抽象，那我介绍一个更加简单易学、创造影响力的一个方法，那就是 ZZP 转赞评。所以，如果你喜欢今天的这个内容，觉得有所收获的话，欢迎大家转发、评论、点赞，让我知道。And make sure go follow me on all the socials, YouTube, Weibo, WeChat, all that good stuff. And I'll see you in the next one with more passion stories. Peace.
it's a video though.
What's the video?
Yeah. Yeah.